So that is the sound of me sawing my blocks for the doodles. The doodles are part of our rewards, and I intend to give them away to our backers that have chosen the doodles. Okay, so here I am sawing some more, and it takes a little bit, but I prefer to use the handsaw to the power tools because they make less noise, allegedly. Okay, so here's I'm done sawing the blocks and I am now sanding them. That is a lot quieter task, and I'm working my front porch. It's kind of a nice setting. There are bees buzzing. Ready to transfer this little doodles onto the blocks, and I'm using what's called studio paper. It's really just a kind of a wax paper, but it works really well to you print on your inkjet, and then you just flip the printout upside down onto the block, and then you get a beautiful transfer. So that's what I'm using, and works really well for these key blocks. So I'm just going to flip the paper and kind of center in the block. This is the key block, so it really doesn't make a big difference. But the image and the block are about the same size. Doesn't make a bit of difference where it goes, but you kind of want it centered anyway. Once it's down, I smooth it out, make sure that it doesn't move, and then I'm going to use the soft side of a homemade Baron, so to speak, to kind of get that ink on there. Holding it very still, and it is transferring very nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and use the hard side of the printing instrument. I call it a Baron, and obtain about as hard a transfer as I can without moving the tracing from the block, and lift it up, and as you can see, it is coming along very nicely. It's really getting a really nice sharp transfer. I'm going to go over it anyway. This is a real Baron. I'm going to go over it anyway with a magic marker to get it darker, but this really is a very quick, very good way to obtain a nice transfer. It does take a little bit of muscle, so okay, that's enough. And it's reusable, so you can wipe that off and use it again. And this is the transfer on the block. Really very, very nice, very quick. Okay, so here's another transfer, this is a new transfer block. Very nice transfer, very dark. This is the paper, and I'm just going to wipe that off and use that paper again. But here's what I call a carving guide. So once I got it transferred, I flipped the design and I printed it on a regular piece of paper, and that helps me go over the lines when I redraw it, and also as I'm carving, then I can refer to something. Now notice that I have a square here, and so I want to make sure this corner is square, because that's the corner that I'm going to use for registering. And then the other little detail is, after I got done chopping the blocks this morning, I sanded the edges to make sure I don't get any splinters and there are any loose things, and I sanded the top very smooth with very fine 400 grit paper. And once that's done, then I take a paper towel and I spray it very lightly with water, just get it very damp, a little bit damp, and then I wipe the blocks, and you can see how much residue comes off even after wiping them dry. You really have to make sure, if you're going to transfer something on the block, that you use water in order to get the rest of the residue off. So what does this have to do with the Fantastic Garden? Well, very little, except these are rewards for some of the backers. So, and I've already gotten some requests for a couple of the colored ones, so I need to get going on making those while I'm waiting for the rest of the wood, the big blocks of wood, to come in, so that we can transfer the big garden design onto them and start our project.